Hey, what's going on, everyone? I hope I find everyone very, very well. Hope that everyone had a great Christmas if you celebrated, and also an even better New Year's. So let's get the usual out of the way. Remember, guys, this is a general reading, so please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And since these are general readings, they can either, the energies can either be coming directly from you or be happening to you from an outside source or from a person, for instance. And the energies can switch over upon any given instance. So remember to always just take what resonates and leave what doesn't and what fits for your unique situation. And please do not force anything. If you'd like to book a private reading, check the description box with a link there to my website. Or you can just visit intuitiveperceptions.com under the services tab. And yeah, book yourself a reading if you are so inclined to. Let's go ahead and bless the decks and we'll get started. Beloved God, I open all channels of light, north, south, east, and west. Guardian angels of the four directions, high councils who serve the holy law of one, holy pure ones, please anchor this space in your divine consecration to provide Libra with the clarity and direction as to which he or she seeks, Father, and please grant me, the reader, the objectivity to read the cards and relay every single message as they are meant and or intended to be. Libra scales. Okay, so I haven't seen these two cards here on the sides. These are your advice cards. But in terms of traditional tarot, we have the Seven of Cups reversed, the Eight of Swords reversed, the Moon reversed, Justice reversed, the Ten of Swords reversed. I'm sorry, the Ten of Swords upright. I apologize. And the Four of Swords upright. Libra, so I feel that this month you're going to start to really discern between what's real and what's fantasy, in a sense. That's what I'm picking up here. I'm also picking up, Libra, that this month you're really going to see that what is really true and what's not. And I'm feeling a little bit of confusion here. When I say confusion, it's more of not really knowing what to sort of believe. Confusion in that sense. When I see the Seven of Cups reversed, Eight of Swords reversed, and the Moon reversed, what I'm picking up on initially here is that you really don't understand right now, possibly, if you should trust or take into consideration if the lies and deception are real, given that if they're facts, or believe the communication that's kind of coming from them a little bit. And I feel as though, Libra, that this month you're going to come to conclusions with this. You're going to start to really see that the truth will set you free. Now, whether that's coming from you or that's coming at you from a person or a circumstance or an outside source. So just apply whatever works for you, whatever resonates for you this month. But I just feel as though that with these three cards here, you're going to really start to really see this. You're going to start to really see that when we identify the lies and when we identify the truth and when we identify where it's coming from and who it's coming from, we're going to start to really conclude, Libra, that we're not really trapped within that situation. We're not really involved with that situation, or the reason as to why we're involved with that situation and why we are involved in the first place. And I feel as though, Libra, that you're going to realize as well why you got involved in it in the first place. Either you got involved from just a circumstance, from he said, she said type of thing, or if you really put yourself within that position, believing what other people say, or believing that whatever it is that you're hearing or the stance that you stand upon, if it actually is true and if it actually suffices for what the truth really is. I'm also picking up on, Libra, that it's time to release yourself from believing maybe only one source. Now, I'm not saying that this one source is, or that one source in general is it's bad to maybe believe that that's the only truth, because chances are, or how things get set up, or how how things play out in our lives, is we tend to kind of roll with one source, which is the problem. But what's in that source? Who's in that source? Where does it come from? What types of people are involved? What type of communication flows in and out and throughout that source? That's where I'm kind of getting at here. You could maybe be dealing with a Pisces, maybe with another Libra. You actually came into your own reading reversed. I think that's all I'm seeing so far. Excuse me. And I'm kind of feeling like it's time to, like I said, release yourself from this. And when you finally realize this, or when you see or come to a conclusion that we sometimes can't always trust just one source, when that is realized, that's when you release yourself from maybe being involved with that source. But let me just say that if that source is true, then don't worry about it, of course. But if it's not, or you're starting to feel that it's not, ask yourself, Libra, why are you involved still? I also want to tell you that maybe you can kind of come up with the conclusion also that what made us drawn to that source in the first place, or why were we so involved in it? Why did we want to become involved in it, and why were we placed within that source? What about it made us feel as though it was the truth, or it is the truth, or that we had a rightful place within it? Because I feel as though, Libra, that sometimes we place ourselves in those types of positions, and when we roll with them, or with it regarding the source, we sometimes find that we become involved in situations and mishaps that don't really have anything to do with us. And we really find that when we sometimes use our own discernment and come up with our own decisions, that sometimes it may not be in line with that source, or may not be what comes from it. It may be on the contrary to the source. I feel like the word the source is, or the words I should say, the source, is very important this month. I feel as though you're going to really review it and see it for what it really is. And then I feel like you're going to approach it, whether you continue on with it or you completely walk away from it, differently. And it's going to be an eye-opening experience for you. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that it's all your fault, but if you did place yourself there, we want to understand, Libra, why did we place ourselves there? Why were we involved in it? What were the red flags that maybe we didn't see along the way? And also while we were involved within it. But I do see you coming out of this period, and I do see yourself freeing yourself from the deception, from the group or the circumstance, or the person, partnership, relationship, whatever it may be for you today. Just releasing yourself from it, releasing it for what it really, truly, and entirely really is. And I feel as though, Libra, that when this happens, you may feel like there's some sort of injustice going on, which, granted, I would feel like that as well. And I also feel as though that when this injustice comes, like justice reversed in the center here, I really do feel that you may feel, or you may begin to feel, some sort of anger may come up a little bit. And it may bring you to a point, Libra, where you may hit rock bottom, like the Ten of Swords here. You may kind of put yourself down, because you beat yourself up a little bit sometimes when you think about situations. You say like, why did I get involved, or why was I put there? But I feel, Libra, like this is a good thing, that it's going to bring you out of being um, in that space, or continuing to be within that space that doesn't have any validity to it, or that may have part-time validity to it. We don't want part-time truth. We always want full truth, full-time truth. We also want to stand in our truth, and the people and the social circles in which we invest in and that we dwell in ultimately are a reflection of our truth, and who and where we get our information from as well, which then helps us either stay on the path of our truth, or it diverts us off of our path of the truth. And I'm feeling as though, Libra, like with the Moon card here and the Ten of Swords, that it may, like I said, lead you to those moments of feeling like you hit rock bottom, or feeling really, really bad about being involved within those situations that maybe have transpired from it, and kind of rolling with the deception, unknowingly or knowingly, onto you. And I feel as though with the Eight of Swords here and the Four of Swords, it's going to be a situation where you are going to see that when we just take a step back sometimes, and when we haven't developed our own discernment and apply our own discernment, and when we go into moments of contemplation, when we really think about the situation for really what it is and how we're involved, that's when we become released from it. That's when we release ourselves from the deception, or from the untruths, or from the fabrications of the situation, or whatever, or whoever it is that we're involved with. But it takes discernment. It takes our own beliefs sometimes, in terms of reviewing as to what it is. Then we can release ourselves from that which no longer serves us, like the Eight of Swords here, releasing ourselves from being or perceiving to be trapped within these groups or social circles or situation, whatever it may be for you. But there definitely is some injustice that is going to present itself, I feel. And when this happens, it's up to you to how you approach it. Maybe not necessarily what you do with it, or how it kind of portrays on, or how it kind of transpires, even though that has a little bit to do with you. But we can't change what happens or what will happen, but we can change, or we can control how we react to it. And I feel as though that this section down here, the three cards here, that's what is being exhibited here. This is what's being relayed to you. That, yeah, you may hit rock bottom, or you may feel bad about the situation, or the situation may lead you to being at the bottom, kind of like being caught up in whatever transpires. But it really takes your own discernment and your own guidance, and trusting in your higher self and your higher power to deliver you from it. Because it's not how many times we hit rock bottom, it's how many times we get back up. Because, Libra, you shouldn't worry if you're not successful. You should worry if you don't fail from time to time, And it's all part of life. This is how we learn. But let's not make the same mistakes by being somewhat maybe delusional to the circumstance, like the Seven of Cups here, reversed. Because you want to release yourself from it, not continue it on, and not continue to go through the same things over and over and over and over again. That just doesn't make any sense. That's insanity. But if it leads you to the Ten of Swords, that's all right. Because even when you're at the bottom, you can still look up and see where the top resides. You can always brush yourself off and get up and start over again, but you get up a bigger and better and stronger person. That you then can apply those learned attributes, or those learned aspects from hitting rock bottom, to your future situation, so that you can prevent any of this from happening again, possibly. Let's see for your advice cards. We have, okay, chains. This is also the devil. So you could be dealing with the Capricorn. And we have the Two of Cups reversed. Okay. So, kind of going to the devil card here, or chains here. I feel as though, Libra, that you need to see what are the elements that are holding you back or that keeping you involved in here, or what even brought you to being a part of this circumstance or group or person. And I believe that that's why the Moon card is here with the Ten of Swords, with the Devil card. It all goes hand in hand in a sense. How when we maybe choose to believe the lies sometimes, or when we choose to ignore the red flags, and we choose to ignore that which shows or portrays injustice, when we choose to ignore those areas, that's when we end up being bound to something. But it's simply a choice, though, Libra. It's difficult to understand the roots of it, or the beginning stages of where it comes from. Or let's say this, it's hard to understand the roots of it, but it's also hard to understand how we were drawn to it, or how we continue to stay within it. Those are the two areas that you need to maybe possibly work on. And there's nothing wrong with learning about yourself or working on yourself from situations as to which leads us to the Ten of Swords. There's nothing wrong with it. But let's not let it happen again. And I feel as though that, going back to what I said about kind of beating yourself up a little bit about this, I believe that that's why the Two of Cups is here, reversed. Because then you're going to then see like, wow, like I really allowed all of that to happen, or wow, I really allowed myself to be involved in that, or to become entrapped. I also want to use the word ensnared, maybe coerced to do things within the group or the situation. Maybe people, or you possibly, since this is general, using your emotions as manipulation in a sense. People manipulating you, or you manipulating people. Since it's general, I'm going to say that, meaning both, both instances. But I feel as though that, don't beat yourself up from it. You released yourself with the Eight of Swords reversed, and you think or thought about the situation as the end result going down, going vertical. But what comes from the Eight of Swords reversed and the Four of Swords can be the Two of Cups reversed here. But it's all a perception. It's not about how bad you did things or how bad things were. It's about, what are you going to do now about the situation? What can be done differently, or what can be viewed differently? What did you learn from this situation? And I feel as though that it's going to bring you closer to you and your higher self, Libra, in the end. That's really what it's going to do. Because we can't allow this Devil card here, or these chains, to keep us bound and chained down to something that really leads us to feeling like we're unhappy with ourselves. But it can all change because it's all about a perception. All right, Libra? Okay, let's go ahead and pull a Jesus card, see what he has for you. Okay, Libra, these two cards popped out. Let's see what they are. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Luke 12:32. And my Father gives you the true bread from heaven, John 6:32. Okay. So, Libra, I think it's pretty explicit here as to what's going on, or what God's trying to tell you here. He's trying to tell you that when you trust in your higher self, and you trust in that little voice, and you listen to that little voice, Libra, that speaks to you and says, something isn't right here. That's when you need to act upon it, because that little voice are our guides. They are the angels that watch over us. And that little voice is there for a specific reason. Let's not ignore it. Always let's take it into consideration, but I would want to say let's always trust it. We should always trust it because it's there for a reason. It's there for your service. It's there for your higher good. Because it's your higher self, it's your angels, it's God, all of it together speaking to you, trying to prevent avoidable circumstances, and also to, check some of the things that are going on in terms of what you get yourself involved in, or how you approach things, or how you handle things as well. But usually that voice comes to us when things aren't when we're beginning things, or things aren't seeming to pan out correctly, or things are panning out favorably or within the correct way or within the right way, when things are kind of deceitful or things are seeming, you understand what I'm saying. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but you understand what I'm saying, when things aren't just going right, when you feel that's not. You're an air sign, Libra. Use that intelligence. It's there for a specific reason. And I think it's also interesting here when the card states, my Father gives you the true bread from heaven, gives you the true sustenance that you need, so you can be delivered from things that are untrue, or be delivered from deception, being delivered from unfavorable results. So you can prevent those things, because that's the true bread. It's what feeds your body. It's what the truth really is. It's what sustains you. The good pleasure in terms of what's good for you, what's good for the whole as well. It's fear, Libra, you have to walk away from. And also, don't fear beating yourself up, or fear that you are the reason for this, in a sense. It's good to take responsibility, but it's also if another party is involved, it's their fault as well. But all you can do is take your end of the responsibility and walk away and make sure that it doesn't happen again. You can't control what the other party does, but you can control if you become enwrapped or engulfed in the situation again. And it all starts with knowing the truth and what the true bread is and how it sustains you. All right, Libra, that's your reading. You'll be okay. Don't beat yourself up. These things happen. It's all a learning experience, okay? All right, Libra, we'll see ya. Happy New Year.